My name is Marcello Moino, and I'm one of the assistant superintendents in the Langley School District. The purpose of the following presentation is to share the boundary change process, along with the rationale and process for change for the elementary family of schools within the RE Mountain Catchment. Before we carry further, it is important to acknowledge the traditional territories. As we gather today to continue our work to inspire all of our learners to reach their full potential, we acknowledge that we do so on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Matsqui, Kwantlen, Katzie, and Semiahmoo First Nations. While growth has been a key theme in the RE Mountain Catchment, we also want to remind families that it is a goal of the district to ensure that we continue to think of the family experiences within the school district. To do so, our goal is to create and maintain compassionate and inclusive social and academic learning opportunities within all of our communities in the Langley School District. We do this by caring for students in terms of their social emotional well-being, by being mindful of our students' physical well-being, and providing vibrant and sustainable learning opportunities for all children. Here you see a map of the catchments in the RE Mountain family of schools. In red, you see the names of elementary schools. In blue, you see lines around that surround the names of those elementary schools. Those are the catchment boundaries for each school. Finally, in green, in the top left-hand corner, you will see the location of the new Northeast Latimer Elementary School. As mentioned, growth has been a very important and central theme in the RE Mountain family of school region. You see that there has been growth in elementary, middle, and secondary schools between September 2021 and June 2024. In terms of the elementary schools, please note that there are two schools whose main growth has come from being overflow schools. For Willoughby and Richard Bulpett Elementary Schools, the overflow school is Lynn Fripps. For R.C. Garnett and Donna Gabriel Robbins, the overflow school is Langley Meadows. Please note also for the middle and secondary, there are two numbers. The first number is the number of students who are non-international students who are in the school. The second number includes our international students as well. Please note that during the last 3 years, where growth has accelerated, the district has frozen international students from entering into the Willoughby family of schools. For example, you will notice in June 2024, RE Mountain had 98 international students. As of this September, the number is fewer than 50, and by the end of this school year, the number will be close to 0 as those students graduate. More examples of growth in the Willoughby catchment. The LRFP, also known as the Long Range Facilities Plan, compares growth within the Willoughby slope to the rest of the district. There has been growth throughout the district in Langley, and in 2020, growth on the Willoughby slope was about 44%. You'll notice, though, from 2021 to 2023, a rapid increase as the growth on the slope now accounted for more than 2/3 or 3/4 of growth in the Langley School District. In 2024, you'll see growth is projected to be about 69%. The reason projected is used is because there is a snapshot taken by the Ministry of Attendance on September 30th, and it takes several weeks after that date for those numbers to be confirmed. One example of growth in the Willoughby slope is the newest school in the Willoughby slope, Donna Gabriel Robbins. You'll see that the school opened in 2021 with 443 students. As of September 2024, our numbers show that Donna Gabriel Robbins is at 647 students and essentially is full. With the growth on the slope, there are many current challenges. First, finding adequate space for increasing divisions. As the number of students grows in the Langley School District, we have more divisions and, as a result, more classrooms required. In meeting the collective agreement language, with the teacher shortage that exists in British Columbia, the fact that Langley is one of the fastest growing regions in the province means that our challenges in keeping up with staffing become exacerbated. In terms of small group instruction spaces, many classrooms break students up into small groups to engage in small group instruction to build skills. That becomes increasingly difficult when instruction spaces are all, again, accounted for because of increased divisions. In terms of providing space for third-party childcare rentals, the Ministry of Education and Childcare puts childcare under the purview of the school district. By the same token, finding classroom spaces for our students enrolled in the district is our first priority. And finally, settling families in. As families arrive, sometimes they find that the school that is within their catchment is full at a certain grade. When that occurs, we work with families to find other nearby schools in the area. In terms of solutions to these challenges, the district has worked hard with staff to find ways to cope. For example, in terms of music programs, rather than having a classroom dedicated to a music program, we've worked with music teachers to have them on carts so that they travel and go to the current classrooms of each student. We've also worked with our childcare providers to move to alternate spaces to create classroom spaces. One example is at Willoughby Elementary, where childcare moved from the school into the heritage space, thus creating another space that a classroom could then be used for a new division. Kindergarten teachers at Donna Gabriel Robbins have come together to take advantage of a larger multi-purpose space and teach 2 kindergarten classrooms, again, being creative in terms of how we use our spaces in our schools. And finally, working with the ministry to build a modular multi-classroom space at Richard Bulpit. That space is actually a beautiful modular space, one that the province has pointed to as an example of what modular can look like. Finally, another solution is portables. As you can see on this table, 11 portables were added for this school year on the Willoughby slope. That accommodated 14 new divisions. As schools do get full at certain grades, as I mentioned previously, we have had the need for overflow schools. You can see here, again, that Lynn Fripps and Langley Meadows are the 2 overflow schools, as they have the most number of out-of-catchment students on the Willoughby slope. Sometimes classrooms on the Willoughby slope become full, and so then students in this past year have been referred also to the Walnut Grove region. Again, you'll see the number of students in each of the Walnut Grove schools that reside in the Willoughby slope. So with all this growth on the Willoughby slope, the solution then has been Northeast Latimer Elementary. The province and the district have worked together so that the school will be ready for open on September 2025, opening day of school. This new school will create 555 new spaces and will aid in the enrollment in both Willoughby, but most especially, based on projections, at Donna Gabriel Robbins. In a separate process, please note that the naming of the school will take place concurrently with this boundary change process. In fact, at the September board meeting, that process was initiated. Please go to the district website, go to board news, and you will see what that process is, and you too can put forward a suggestion in terms of what the name of the new Northeast Latimer Elementary will be. Once again, I go back to the slides, the slide with the map of the Willoughby Slope catchments. Again, noting where Northeast Latimer is located on the upper left-hand corner of the map, you'll see that it is obvious that the Willoughby catchment will be one of the catchments that is impacted. Projections tell us that the Donna Gabriel Robbins catchment will also be impacted. It is difficult to tell which of the other school catchments will be impacted because, again, we are still waiting to collect feedback from you, the public, and we're also still working through various scenarios in terms of what projections look like. Based on our scenarios, it is fair to say that Langley Meadows, for example, might be impacted with a number of Donna Gabriel Robbins students no longer attending Langley Meadows as an overflow school, with those students potentially then going to the new Northeast Latimer. If that's the case, will Langley Meadows then have a school that is as full as other schools on the Willoughby Slope? If not, then we may have to look at potential boundary changes at Langley Meadows as well. In terms of the process and timeline, district staff have already met back in June and have met again in August to discuss exactly what the process looks like and for the district to gain local knowledge from our administrators. In September and October, this process is taking place to meet with the elementary PACs as well as any parent invited for each of the elementary schools. We've also added the 2 middles and secondary school so that we make sure that we have feedback from the entire Willoughby Slope and to give parents as many opportunities as possible to give feedback. Again, as mentioned previously, any families who are not able to attend any of the information sessions can watch this video and can then send an email to feedback@sd35.bc.ca. Please know that all feedback will be read and will be considered. After the first round of consultation, ending approximately October 15th, district staff will meet to discuss feedback, impact, as well as supports in terms of the different boundary change options. Our plan then is for the end of October to return to the schools that are most impacted and then to share what we believe the boundaries should be on the Willoughby Slope for the new elementary school as well as the surrounding elementary schools in the Arry Mountain catchment. After that feedback again is reviewed, the goal is by the 3rd week of November to then report to the Langley School Board and share recommendations for where the boundaries will be for each of the schools in the slope, including the new Northeast Latimer. And so, to summarize some of the big ideas, there has been increasing enrollment in the Arry Mountain region, and this impacts schools at the elementary, middle, and secondary levels. The district has attempted to be creative in how it has allocated spaces to be able to provide enough space for divisions and the increasing number of divisions over the last several years. Northeast Latimer is planned to be completed by September 2025 to create 555 more spaces at elementary in the area. Because of that addition, all local catchment schools require a catchment, and therefore catchment changes are needed as a result of the Northeast Latimer build. The district will propose changes based on location of current and future student homes. The district will also propose changes based on feedback collected during this consultation. Ultimately, the goal will be to create catchment boundaries so that all students will be able to attend school in their appropriate catchment. Obviously, then, there are many considerations that are taken into account when the district is creating new boundaries. Once again, if you have any questions or feedback, please email feedback@st35.bc.ca. It is best, certainly for the first round of consultations, to email before October the 15th. The email address will remain open, however, so that during the second round of consultations, currently planned for the end of October but not yet confirmed, at that time we will again read feedback and again encourage as much feedback as possible. Please know that the more feedback we receive, the more we are able to better understand the priorities of families in the RE Mountain Catchment region, and the more then we can respond to those requests in terms of prioritization. With that, thank you for watching this video, and we hope to hear from you through the feedback email.